Police Stories, The Rookie Years, True Crime, Chaos, and Life as a Big City Cop. This is book one of my newest series that will be released in March of 2026. I thought I would do something a little different and treat you, my loyal listeners/watchers, to a sneak peek of my book that gives you an unfiltered look behind the yellow crime scene tape that few civilians ever get a chance to see. A big thank you to those of you who have taken the time and have given me feedback. If you'd like to comment on this or any other episodes, drop me a line at sarge@copsandwriters.com or reach out to me on social media. Or call me if you know my number. Anyways, I will read a chapter a week until my book goes live as a bonus episode of the Cops and Writers podcast. Last episode, I almost got stabbed and almost shot someone my first week on the job. This week, I almost get shot by someone you'd never expect. Tonight, I will read Chapter 12, Pistol Packin' Grandma Moses. The good and bad parts of warhorsing were that you got to work with a variety of police officers. Tonight, I was assigned with one of my favorites, Officer DJ. DJ was about the same age as me and had about 4 years on the job, so he was considered a veteran officer. DJ was a towering human that stood about 6'5" and weighed right around 300 pounds. He looked like he should play for the Chicago Bears, probably because he played on their practice squad the year they won the Super Bowl. He was a giant of a man who was a gentle soul. He was soft-spoken, but when pushed, wasn't afraid to push his sizable weight around. That night, our first call was a 911 hang-up in an apartment building by the university. The person dialed 911 and hung up. The dispatcher attempted to call back, but there was no answer. That meant we had to respond and make sure everyone was okay. If nobody answered the door, we would have to force it open. We got to the building and rode the elevator to the 5th floor and found the apartment. DJ knocked on the door with his hand that resembled a catcher's mitt. Milwaukee police, open the door. Nothing happened. We looked at each other, shrugged our shoulders. This time DJ banged harder and announced our presence in a louder baritone. Milwaukee police, open the door or we will force it open. We heard some muffled voices inside, and the door opened a crack with the chain lock on the inside. A young college kid who was obviously inebriated told us we needed a warrant to enter. DJ in a calm voice stated, "Sir, we don't need a warrant in this situation. Someone dialed 911, and we have to make sure everyone is okay. We will come in and walk through the apartment. If everything is okay, we will leave. Cool?" The young man giggled at DJ. "No way, man. I know my rights. Why don't you and your partner find some actual crime to fight?" The kid started to close the door, and DJ slapped the door with a thud. The chain went flying along with the kid. We walked in, and the stunned student on the floor just lay there in shock. There was another young man who kept his head down and didn't say a word. We walked through the apartment and everything was fine. DJ smiled at the kid who was still on the floor. "Now, wasn't that painless? Next time, just open the door. Oh, and stay off the phone when you've been drinking." He walked out and the dispatcher was calling us before we made it to our squad. "Squad 57, how much longer?" DJ keyed the mic on his lapel. 57, give us a C9, C10, which is unfounded, baseless, and advised. "What do you have for us?" "Squad 57, please respond to the entry in progress at 2320 North Buffum Street. Caller states someone is trying to break into her house through the attic. Be advised, caller sounds elderly and confused. 57? 57, 10-4 on the elderly and confused." A short time later, we pulled up next to the house to the south and walked up to the home. There was a strong wind that night, and we both saw a tree branch banging on the roof of the elderly woman's home. It looked like a reverse metronome pounding away in perfect largissimo. DJ let out a chuckle. "I think we found our culprit. She needs a tree surgeon, not a cop." Before we could knock on the door, a woman in her 80s opened the door and motioned us in. She stood about 5 foot with salt and pepper hair, wearing her housecoat and slippers. Come on in, officers, she continued as we walked into the house, closing the door behind us. Someone is breaking into my attic. Can't you hear it? She cupped her ear with one hand and pointed towards the stairs that led to the second level of the house. You need to get up there and go get him. DJ put his hand on her shoulder and gave her a kind, reassuring smile. Ma'am, there isn't anyone breaking into your house. A tree branch is hitting your roof. That's what you're hearing. The lady shook her head. No. Nope. I swear, there's somebody trying to break into my house. You two need to get up there and catch them. I've been broken into before. This is a bad neighborhood. We both shook our heads yes, because she was right. As she continued, you police were nowhere to be seen. Come on now, get up there. We both knew she wouldn't be happy unless we cleared her attic of bad guys. So DJ and I made our way up the stairs to clear the attic and make a little old lady happy. DJ took the lead with me a couple of steps behind him. He turned his head my way and his eyes popped out of his head as he drew his Glock and yelled in a voice that was a combination of Lou Rawls and Samuel Jackson, "Drop the gun!" My first thought was, I'm not holding a gun. What the hell? Why is DJ yelling at me? I spun around, drawing my pistol, and saw the little old lady holding a .38 caliber revolver aimed square at my back with the hammer cocked back and her index finger on the trigger. Her finger was shaking as if she was getting electrocuted. We all froze in place for a few seconds before Grandma slowly put the gun on the stair that was directly behind me. DJ and I holstered our Glocks, and I picked up the pistol and decocked the hammer on the .38. I broke open the cylinder and observed that it was loaded with 6 .38 caliber bullets. I pushed the plunger on the cylinder and the cartridges fell into my other hand. I was one squeeze of an old lady away from being killed. DJ motioned her to the couch on the living room. Why don't you have a seat, ma'am? The woman explained to us that she had lived in this house for over 30 years and that she was a widow. She said that she needed the gun for protection and sometimes did target practice in the backyard and shoots at neighborhood dogs to keep them out of her yard. DJ broke the news to her she wasn't getting her gun back anytime soon and that we would inventory it at the district. We would make a referral to social services and have a social worker come visit her. She wasn't happy, but I think she understood. We got back into the squad and DJ radioed dispatch. Squad 57 shows changing locations to D5 to inventory some property. Before he put the squad in drive, he looked at me and busted out laughing. Man, Grandma Moses almost put a cap in your ass. Literally. As we headed back to the station, I looked at the empty pistol in my hands. Yep, Grandma Moses almost put a cap in my ass. So much for a cool scar with a heroic story. It would be a little old lady that shot me in my pride. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. Everything you heard is true. Names and locations have been changed to protect the innocent and not so innocent, but the events are exactly as they happened. This episode is part of the ongoing series where I'm reading my upcoming book, Police Stories, The Rookie Years, True Crime, Chaos, and Life as a Big City Cop, one chapter at a time here on the Cops and Writers Podcast. If this story stuck with you, do me a favor, subscribe, follow, and share it with someone who appreciates real stories from behind the badge. And if you want to support the show, leave a review, drop a comment, or let me know which chapters hit hardest. That feedback helps me more than you know. Next Wednesday night, I'll be reading another chapter, another true story from my rookie years on the streets of Milwaukee. Until then, thanks for listening, and of course, let's be careful out there.